Today, we're going to take a world view, an honest to God world view. South America, Africa, Europe, European Union, different aspects of what's going on. Some have been covered in the media, but most have not been covered in the media. As a matter of fact, a couple of them have these gaps, right? And we're going to do that today. We're going to get this done on the world view. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the World View. My name is Chris Greco. For the next 30 minutes or so, we'll be talking about the world. Now, we'll hit a little bit about the United States in this, but actually it's going to be about this much of the entire show. What I want to do is just make sure that you understand, how all these things interact and what they do, and basically how the world conducts itself, with relationship to the U.S., apart from the U.S., all these different things. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to get those things done today for you and to move on and make sure that everything is good to go. So the first thing I want to talk about is Argentina. Argentina recently got a new president by the name of Javier Milei. Now, Milei is people call him, excessive right winger. He's an outsider. He's not a politician per se, and you can kind of tell. So what he's done is he came in and he said, we're going to cut the government. We're going to cut a lot of things that the government does. And the people actually are very supportive of this, as we should be in the United States. There's a lot of government agencies that basically are just, they don't do much. They really, honest to God, do not do much. And a lot of people sit there and say, oh, Chris, you don't know. Yes, I do. No, yes, I do. I was spent enough time in government to know that there are agencies out there that do basically a lot of nothing. And a lot of people get paid for doing a lot of nothing. And it's really interesting how that all works. They think they're doing something. You can't, their intentions are good. I mean, the employer, it's not the employee's fault per se, but they're taking money and they're not doing much. And it's really interesting to see how they keep growing and growing and growing, and they need more people, and yet those people kind of do, I think, Trump kind of said it with the swamp thing, but I think it's basically what happens is that once you get in the government, and you're in the government for over that 90-day probationary period, and all of a sudden you're a permanent employee, it takes a lot to fire you, and it does take a lot to fire you. Usually over timesheet fraud is what they usually get people on. But basically what happens is that when you can't get fired, you have that tenure type attitude where it's like, nobody can fire me. And if I don't do any work, they still can't fire me. And it's a lot of, there's a lot of steps to go about those firings. So basically what happened is that, Milei said, hey, look, we need to do a lot of these areas. So 24 January, latest report on this from BBC, love BBC. Tens of thousands marched against Javier Milei's cuts because he's trying to cut government. He's trying to cut, unnecessary waste from government and trying to make that work, right? So so what's happening is that they're challenging it. The people are out there saying, no, you can't do this, because they're used to getting the benefits. If they're used to getting the benefits, then all of a sudden you say you can't get the benefits anymore. That's a real problem. I mean, look what happened in France, right? Look what happened in France. We're going to take the retirement age and move from 62 to 64. People went nuts. Went crazy about that. I mean, once you start giving people something, it's kind of like, we're going to take it away. Oh, you can't take it away. There's an issue with that. So, 45 days ago, the guy was doing that. Deregulation, deep spending cuts, devaluation of the peso, because the thing is nuts anyways, and he's trying to go to the US dollar, and they don't want to do that. Everything he wants to do is probably good, right? But you got to get the following of the people to do that. Well, you figure the guy was elected in, so people wanted something different, and now this is what they have. And it's interesting how they constantly bring up Juan Perón and Eva Perón, Evita, right? The Evita aspect. Take a look at her history. Take a look at that, right? And Eva Perón was not a strong leader at all. And that's the interesting part about it. And neither was Juan Perón. And then you had Fujimura, who tried to come in and do things with that, and people didn't want to hear anything about that. Go away. So there's all kind of issues there. So this is really an issue with Argentina, and the guy's trying to do things. I get it. If you don't like it, get get him out in whatever amount of years he's in for. So I mean, that's that type of thing. So I mean, Valentina pensioner said the president forgotten about the poor, putting a country up for sale. Yeah, kind of hyperbole there, but that's fine. From the social movement, movimiento Evita, right? It's interesting how that works, right? But I mean, you could take a look and just take a look. Evita Peron. I mean, uh, uh, Evita Peron as a leader. We'll just talk about that. We'll just plug that right in there. President Juan Perón, second wife of Argentina during her husband's first term as president, became a powerful, though unofficial, political leader. Isn't that interesting? So she wasn't even the leader, right? She was not a leader, but they just loved her because, it's just that's the way she was, right? So, I mean, she wasn't, 33rd birthday, she was given the name spiritual leader of the nation by her husband, right? So, I mean, you have all these situations that happen with that. And I think it's interesting. I mean, she was probably good, probably a good person, whatever else. But what type of leader was she? She wasn't even the leader. She was not a leader of Argentina. She was the wife of the leader of Argentina. So how did Juan Perón do, right? Juan Perón, right? Juan Perón as a leader, right? Let's see what that is about. Populist and authoritarian president of Argentina, founder of the Peronist movement, course of industrialization, state intervention in the economy in order to bring greater economic and whatever else. So, I mean, here's what we have, right? Rise to power, wife and death. I mean, all these situations. So I think it's interesting. Just go in and take a look at that. Argentine general who was elected president of Argentina 3 times, 46, 51, 73. I mean, so take a look, see what his record is before you start saying, oh, Evita, Evita, Evita. Bottom line is that Argentina only had only one leader, Juan Perón. So be careful how that all goes. Authoritarian leader to boot, right? So that is interesting how that all works. Next story we're going to hit UNRWA claims, right? UK halts aid to UN agency over allegation staff helped Hamas attack. Again, these are UN organizations sanctioned by the UN that, in essence, they're kind of out there in the Wild West. They're kind of doing their own thing. It's really scary how the UN is giving money to organizations through countries that participate, including the US and the UK and European countries. And all of a sudden, you come up and they say, "Okay, we have a problem. We have a problem with this." Suspended funding: US, Australia, Italy, Canada, Finland, Netherlands, Switzerland, and Germany, because Relief and Works Agency, biggest UN agency operating in Gaza. Now they're saying, well, the thing is that some of these people that belong to the UNRWA, in actuality, were helping the Hamas attack. Those are allegations and they need to be investigated, but cut me a break. You got to be kidding me here. What's going on with this? So I know that's a real issue. Victim of Rwanda genocide. Something, I am not going to do this. Okay. Victim of Rwandan genocide still being found 30 years on. Rwanda. Big, I mean, remember the pictures, 30 years ago of the Rwandan disaster, genocide? I mean, people were dead. They were in rivers and whatever else. I mean, this is horrible, genocide aspects. They're still being found. People are being prosecuted, and all these situations happening in Rwanda. So Rwanda supposedly now is an okay country, right? Well, interestingly enough, that you have the UK, and the UK wants to send migrants to Rwanda, and they're going to pay Rwanda to take those migrants. And it's like, now it's January 29th. They're going to face the first of several key tests in the House of Lords, the House of Commons, House of Lords, 2 houses in the bicameral aspect of the United Kingdom, so UK. So that is interesting how that works. And a lot of people don't realize the House of Lords, House of Commons, a lot of our stuff in the United States is based upon the parliamentary aspect, but it's different because it's not a parliament. You don't have a prime minister. You have a president. That president is elected. I mean, prime minister is elected, but there's differences. There's different aspects in that whole thing. But that's what's going to happen. So they're going to make that work. So Rishi Sunak's flagship Rwanda bill is facing its first test as debate gets underway in the House of Lords, right? And so that is what's going on there. Now it's already passed the courts aspects in the beginning, and now there's a problem here. Bill was damaging to the UK's reputation and national unity and to asylum seekers who are in need of protection. And it's interesting how the Archbishop of Canterbury, the religious leaders in the UK, religious leaders, the Pope says you need to give more assistance to migrants. I agree, Pope Francis. So why don't you take them into the Vatican? You take migrants into the Vatican. Let them in. Let them in. Get rid of the priests. Tell the priests that they can live someplace else. You can live someplace else, and you give them your quarters. If you are the vow of poverty Pope that we talk about and everything else, then just give the migrants take them into the Vatican. Bring them into St. Peter's. Put up cots. Bring the migrants in there. Gee, that wouldn't work, huh? Yeah, it's nice to talk about, right? Nice to talk about, Pope Francis, but I don't see the action that follows your words on this whole thing. You are judging. You are judging other countries. You're not supposed to be judging other countries. And you, as a country, right, are not taking in migrants. That's interesting. Very interesting. So, and you have plenty of money to do it. Plenty of money to take in migrants. So this is what's happening here. So the UK is planning on shipping them down to Rwanda. Interesting, right? But that's what's happening there. So then we have this. Venezuela orders military exercises. Dispute with Guyana escalates. Now the last thing is 29 December 2023. I've heard nothing since the UK sent down a warship down to support Guyana. And we're going to show all these in the maps here in a second. We're going to go over the stories first, and then we're going to go over them in maps. So this is what's happening, right? And I just want it's not so much reading it, but Venezuela orders military exercises. And I'm telling you, nothing has been on these stories. I haven't seen anything on these stories since this point in time, 29 December. So I don't know what happened with the military exercises, what's going on. So it's escalating, but hey, hopefully they're not at war. And then the Somaliland deal, right? Makes waves in the Horn of Africa. This is 19 January. And basically what's happening is that Somalia has said, you take Somaliland and you attempt to make some type of port on the coast of Somaliland, you're basically infringing on our territory. Think about this for 1 second, right? Think about this. Somalia thinks Somaliland is theirs. Somaliland says, no, we're independent. Ethiopia wants to negotiate with Somaliland for coastal aspects because they have no coast at all. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening there, right? So all this stuff is happening in the world right now. Get with it, right? Get with it. So let's go to the U.S. real quick. And what do we have? I'm just going to put in here two words. Let's see. So we'll put in here Kelce and Swift. Every photo of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce celebrating his AFC championship win. Isn't this great? The United States is just such a tremendous. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? Tell Travis, I love you after AFC championship win. That is just, it gets my heart. It's just, and he does the heart symbol as he gets touchdown. He's like high school. We're in high school, Travis. High school. Congratulations. Yay, I got a touchdown. Yay. Are you kidding me? Cut me a break. Adorably follows Donna Kelce's lead in new field photo. That's so great. Yay, Taylor Swift. She's going to go to the Grammys. I'll bet you Travis Kelce's going to be there at the Grammys. I love you. That's great. Those Swifties out there, guess what? Get a life. Get a life. This is what your life is going to be like. Cut me a break. So just had a relative of mine say, yeah, but she's doing so well. Heck yeah, she's doing so well. She's a billionaire. She's a billionaire. Cut me a break. She's given a lot of employment. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, that's a way to put that. So this is what the United States is all about. And you don't believe me. You sit there and say, oh, Chris, you're exaggerating. It's not like that. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's just do that. Google Trends. Let's just do Google Trends in the United States, and figure out exactly what's going on, because I think this is really, really important. So let's see, what are we going to have? Explore. Let's see what you can do. Explore Google Trends. Yay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put in some stuff here. Super Bowl teams, no, we're going to do that. We're going to put in here Guyana. Okay, we're in Guyana. So what's Guyana look like? Well, let's see, interest over time, January 28th. Oh, it's coming up. It's, ooh, look at this. It's coming up. All right. And then we're going to compare with Kelce. We're just going to put in Kelce here. We're going to see how this goes. Okay. This is what is, and this is Kelce right here. Look at this. Well, this was what, Sunday? Oh, yay. So let's comparison here to Taylor Swift. And let's see what that looks like. Oh, guess what? Look at this. It almost matches. You know why? Because it's Kelce and Swift. Look at this. But let me tell you something. Kelce, Travis, what's going to happen is what happens if you lose a Super Bowl? Which I'm rooting for San Francisco. I'm a San Francisco fan now. I was Ravens. I'm now a San Francisco fan, rooting against Kansas City. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, okay, fine. What happens when you lose? Oh, well, let me tell you. Taylor Swift's going to be up here. She's going to be way up here, and you're going to be down here, because it's going to be like all of a sudden you're going to lose. They're going to lose interest in you, man, but they're never going to lose interest in Taylor Swift. And it'll be interesting to see how that relationship, can garner that type of challenge. If it does, good, then there's something there. But I have this funny feeling that once the AFC Championship goes away, and the enamoring of all that stuff goes away, I'll tell you what's going to happen to you, dude, is you're going to have a song written about you. Taylor Swift's going to write a song about you, man. Like she writes about all her ex-boyfriends, and it's going to hit the top 10 or whatever it is, and she's going to make $1 gazillion off of it, and you're going to be the GOAT. Not greatest of all time either, dude. GOAT. But that's okay. You keep doing. But this is what we're talking about in the United States, not Guyana, not and I mean you get rid of all this stuff. All of a sudden Guyana pops up again. But I mean, and this is the United States. This is the United States here. Look at this. Guyana, less than 1%. Kelce, 100%. Look at this. Look at all this. New York, a little bit about Guyana. Let's see, 5%. Yay. I mean, this is sad. This is a sad, sad situation. Sad. Well, let's put Bachelor, right? Let's put Bachelor. I mean, just the heck of it. Oh, look at this. Look at The Bachelor. The Bachelor I should put The Bachelor, right? The Bachelor. So, see what The Bachelor looks like. It's in words. Oh, except right here. Right here, it looks like The Bachelor and Guyana. Is that Guyana? Yeah. Guyana kind of went down to where this is. Look at this. And then all of a sudden came back up again. Split up. So that's what we're talking about here, and that's what the situation is when we're talking about the United States. This is what we're worried about. This is what we're worried about. The Bachelor, all that stuff. Guyana, nah, I don't think so. How about Essequibo? Let's see what that looks like. Nothing. Zero. That's the region that's being under dispute between Venezuela and Guyana. Nah, don't worry about that. Worried about football. Worried about the AFC Championship. We're about the NFC Championship. Oh yeah, let's see what happens. Let's see. I mean, again, this is all my opinion. Totally my opinion. It's it's not worth that. It's only worth what you perceive to be an opinion is worth, right? So that's what that is. But I mean, I'm sorry to take a shot at you, Taylor, but dadgummit, you are making some kind of money, and the thing is the NFL loves you because you're making money for them. You are being used to make money for the NFL. So, hey, if that's what you want, to be as a strong woman, okay, you want to be used so that you can, make the NFL grow. Great, that's just super. Do that. So I mean, that's to me it'd be kind of like I wouldn't show up at football games. I wouldn't do any of that stuff. Why? Because you're endorsing the NFL. You're endorsing the violence of the NFL. All that violence that happens. Guess what, Taylor? You're there endorsing it. You're cheering for it. You're there loving it. You're doing this stuff. That's great. But let me tell you something. That's that's going to be to your downfall later on. People are going to use that against you after you break up with Kelce, unless you're going to marry the guy. If you're going to marry the guy, okay, cool. But I have this funny feeling, it's going to go and it's going to be done, and then moving on to something else. So that's going to happen there. So that's what happened with Essequibo. I mean, it's like nothing here, zero. January 29th, a little bit. That was it. I mean, it's really, really sad, and it's by region. 79 here. We got New Mexico. I mean, it's like nothing, zero. What is that? New Hampshire, New Mexico. I mean, Georgia. So all these things, I just wanted to make sure that you understood what's going on there. Now, what else is going on? Well, I'm gonna switch gears here to AI, artificial intelligence. This is really scary stuff, and this is occurring in all countries, not just the United States. This is a worldview on this. And basically, what happens is cop used DNA to predict a suspect's face and tried to run facial recognition on it. Now think about this for a second. You're going to use DNA to predict a suspect's face, run a facial recognition on it, which means if my facial features are anywhere near a suspect, then all of a sudden I become a member of that suspicion group. Even though I had nothing to do with it, the facial recognition is there. Not cool. Not cool, man. This is where the DNA and AI and everything else really scary stuff. Really scary stuff. Because basically that's, you're innocent until proven guilty. Really? Are you? Because all of a sudden, we found this facial recognition thing, and boom, here it is. And this person matches the facial recognition of a crime that was committed 15 years ago. And all of a sudden you're brought in, you're questioned, all that stuff. And let me tell you something, just between me and you. You ever brought into a situation where you're questioned by police? You get a lawyer. You don't answer any questions. You have the right to remain silent. Remain silent. You have the right to remain silent. Remain silent. It's like, no, and especially if it's FBI, because if you answer something in all your true intentions, your good intentions, but let's say you're mistaken about what day or whatever it is, basically they can get you for lying to a federal agent. After that, then they can get you, it's a federal crime. So by not saying anything, you haven't lied. So don't say anything, right? That's a United States thing. So you got to really be careful. So let's go over what we've gone over here from different aspects. So first thing went over was we talked about Argentina. So let's find out where Argentina is. So where is Argentina? So here is South America, right? What is this? This is Brazil, right? Biggest country in South America. Here you have Bolivia. Now this is interesting here because a lot of people think this is Argentina, but in actuality, this is Chile, right? Argentina is right next to it, right? Argentina is right here, right in this area right here. A lot of coastline, all this area in here. And Argentina they have what they call Tierra del Fuego, which you have to pass through in order to get around South America. And that's what, if you've ever seen what Master and Commander, that's what they had to do. They had to come all the way around. This is very, very, very long way. And you don't have to do that anymore with the Panama Canal, right? The Panama Canal did all that. So this is all kind of cool here, right? So that Tierra del Fuego, let's go to Tierra del Fuego. That's what this is right here. So that is what we're talking about, and that's Argentina. Buenos Aires being the capital of Argentina. All right, so that country right here is what we're talking about here. We were talking about in the beginning, so now you know where that is, South America. And then we were talking about, at one point we were talking about Ethiopia, Well, we're talking about Rwanda, so let's talk about where Rwanda is. Rwanda is right here. That's Rwanda, right next to Burundi, like they're twin countries. So that's where Rwanda is. Notice Tanzania is here, Uganda, DRC is here, Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya's here. So we have, this is right here in this area. So what we're talking about with Ethiopia, well, here's Ethiopia here, and Somaliland is right in this area, right in here. This is Somaliland. And Somaliland, Ethiopia wants to try to get in Somaliland, and Somalia says, no, that's us. We have Somaliland. So now they're going crazy about that. They're trying to figure out what to do with it. So they're having an issue with that. Right next to Djibouti, which has a coastline, small, but its coastline comes in, good port, protected port. So that's what's going on there with Ethiopia. And then the last part we want to talk about, of course, Rwanda, but we want to talk about the UK and how this UK area, they're stopping funding because the UN relief organization that's providing aid to Gaza, and this is Gaza right here. This is the Gaza Strip. A lot of people don't realize this. So this is Israel, and this is what they call the West Bank here, West Bank of the Jordan River, right? Because why? Because it's border with Jordan, right? So this is the Dead Sea here. This is the Sea of Galilee here, right? So that's, all that stuff, very biblical, very biblically, very, very biblically important, right? So you have all that. Here's Jordan here, because of course you have the Jordan River. So there's Jordan here. And this is the West Bank, and this is Gaza Strip. So all these areas are things that we have to take into consideration when we talk about this. And that's what's happening there. So relatively quick show, but I wanted to hit some of the highlights, make sure that everybody understands where everything is located. So we'll do that from now on. We'll hit the stories first, and we'll go to geography second. And I know I kind of went off on the Taylor Swift thing, but cut me a break here. This is getting a little bit much. And I realize she's a strong woman and all that stuff, but the bottom line is this: is that she is a billionaire. So that means she is an entrepreneur par excellence, and that's good. But she's been in Time Magazine twice as Person of the Year. The first time was as a kind of whistleblower with a situation where they talk about she was being sexually harassed, which she got on a stand. I give her a lot of courage, a lot of credit for courage on that. That's great. Second time is because she's making $1 gazillion and people like her music. Good for those people like her music. I think that's great. Like the music, but let's not get ourselves so enamored with this individual that she becomes godlike. Then there's a problem in my eyes, and it should be in everybody's eyes at that point in time. So on that note, we'll see you next time on Worldview. We'll hit a couple of other main points, and that's those types of aspects come off, and maybe do some other things with AI. But I want to leave you with a trivia question, and this one I want to make sure and put up because I think this is so. I want to make sure, and let's see, who is Leslie King? And this has to do with politics. U.S. politics. Leslie King, U.S. politics. Okay, who is Leslie King, U.S. politics? Let me know. The way you can do that is just, again, email me. Tell me the answer. Tell me the answer. I will announce your name on the air and let you know that you got it right. So I really appreciate you watching and taking notes, whatever it is you do. Busting my chops when you think I got it wrong, please, and just let me know at that email address. In the meantime, understand that there's a lot of things happening, and the best way to approach that is to always take the worldview. Take care.